Okay, well, hello everyone. It's such an absolute pleasure to be with you here today. Are you someone who has heard of the placebo effect? And if so, is it just sugar pills to you? If that's all you think of the placebo effect as being, get ready to have your mind blown. We are going to teach you some fascinating things and teach you why they're important and how they apply to you.
Hey everybody, Dr. Tim here, and of course I'm here with Dr. Steve. You already heard from him. And we are the Ouch Doctors, and we're so happy to be back here. This is our 10th episode in a row, our 10th daily episode, so we're thrilled about that. And Dr. Steve's going to be sharing some awesome information about the placebo effect, a lot of stuff that you may have heard about the placebo effect. Right. Go into some serious deep dive into that. And just before we do that, just as always, want to share that we are not your doctors. We don't want to play your doctors. We want you to have your own medical care, but we want to supply information that you can take back to them, ask them, quiz them, make sure that your treatment makes sense. And so we're here to put those questions into your mind and give you some daily to-do list to get yourself out of pain by using the mind-body methods. So also subscribe to our the Ouch Doctors YouTube, and of course on Facebook. Give us a good like. We're here sharing information because we love this stuff and we want you to get the best possible results as possible. And stick around at the end of today because Dr. Steve will be sharing his one big thing, the OBT for today, and it's going to be a doozy. He shared it with me. And we're also super happy to remind folks that to get our Freedom from Pain kit, which is free for the time being, you can go to theouchdoctors.com and you can put your email in there and you can download the Freedom from Pain kit. And it is a kit. There's 3 awesome items, and we'll talk about that again a little bit more coming up. But Steve, how do you transform your pain using the placebo effect?
Oh, this is such an exciting topic. I'm so thrilled we're talking about this because, you and I both grew up at a time when you heard placebo, what you thought was the sugar pill that they gave you as the pretend medicine to compare it to the real medicine. And that's still what a placebo is in research. We find that, in order to double-blind study a particular medicine, what they'll do is they'll develop the medicine, and then they'll give one group of people the quote-unquote placebo, meaning it's not real medicine, and then they'll give another group of people the real medicine, and they'll compare the relationship between the two, and they naturally assume the placebo isn't going to do anything, so whatever happens is what happens because of the real drug. Well, guess what is so fascinating? Back about 25 years ago, there was approximately a 7%. Let me see if I have these numbers right. No, I'm sorry. It was there was like a 27% or more greater result from the actual drug that would tell them, yeah, this is a real drug. That's now gone down to about 7%. And it's not that drugs are less effective, it's that placebos are more effective. Meaning that in a large number of situations, in a large number of cases, taking a pretend pill, doing a pretend therapy produces quite good results with, of course, none of the side effects. Now, that's a very strange thing to be able to say, right? But Harvard Medical Review has looked at this ad nauseum. There's so many incredible articles that I was recently reading about this, one of which, when we talk about placebo, we're not just talking about the drug placebo, in other words, the sugar pill. We're talking about any pretend therapy. So one of the studies that was done was where they would take one population of people who needed surgery and give them the surgery. And they'd take another population of people who needed surgery and they'd give them pretend surgery, meaning they would literally cut them. I don't know nobody agreed to that. I don't know how that happened, but I guess they figured that if it didn't work, they'll cut them open again. I don't know. Anyway, they cut somebody open and then they sewed them back up. They never went inside. They just cut them open. So when the person wakes up, they figure, I had an operation. I've got a scar from the operation. You will never believe the relationship between the two. So in that one particular study, the placebo, just getting cut open and sewn back up with nothing happening, was 70% as effective as actually doing the operation. 70%, that's 3/4 of the likelihood of correction. It's mind-blowing. But then they went and they did a retrospective study on all of the times that these things had been done. And they said, on average, the placebo surgery was almost exactly as effective as real surgery. I know. Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. So now we're hearing fake pills, fake surgery, and all sorts of other things that so you might be thinking are really valuable to you, that you think, well, I know that works, I know that helps, and maybe it does. So maybe you're into crystals, or maybe you're into essential oils, or maybe you're into magnets, or who knows what it is. And ordinarily when we talk about things like that, we say, well, that's just a placebo, meaning that's just something that's meant to convince you that something's happening. The rest of that sentence looks like, but it's not really, right? Oh, somebody's waving crystals over you, and it's just, so you're getting better, but it's just a placebo. But you're getting better, legitimately getting better. So in other words, what's going on? What's going on? And what's going on is that our minds have the power to create an experience, to activate the neurochemicals that are necessary for healing and for pain reduction, just through the power of belief. That's it. Now, it's no less powerful than the drugs or the surgery or the other techniques that you choose to use. Certainly a lot safer than many of those things, but it is legitimately creating the effect. So to say, well, you were duped into getting better is like saying you were duped into being given $1 million. It's like, go ahead, dupe me any day. I'm cool with that. I'm okay with the idea that if I can believe that something is of value to me and then find out that it actually can be of value to me, then remarkable things might happen. So now let me tell you about a couple more studies, and then I'm going to circle back to that concept again. One of the studies was done at a large university in the United States, where a group of people were administered electroshocks. Again, who goes for these surgeries? I don't know. Electrical shocks. And depending on the intensity of the electric shock, there would be a color flashed in front of them before the shock was delivered. So if you were going to see a green light, the next shock would be a pretty mild shock. And if you were shown a red light, prepare to jump off your chair, because you're going to get the largest shock. So the green light, mild shock; red light, intense shock. So what the experimenters did was they did that with people for a while. And then they would shine the green light, and then they would give the person the biggest shock they could possibly get. And it was fine. Everybody perceived it as a mild shock, because they had already convinced themselves, their minds were already on board with the idea that green equals a mild result. And so
what this proves is that if you ever had any doubts about the mind-body connection, that it has an incredible healing ability, you need to throw that right out, because this absolutely proves it. This research has been going on forever, and there is a huge mind-body connection in the healing world. And fascinating. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me add this second experiment so you can really see how this real fleshes out, because I think the thing I really want to get across, the thing that's really that I'm passionate about here, and that I think Dr. Tim is passionate about, is having people who have a tendency to believe that only the real drug, the real surgery are the answer, and that anything that's just the mind is just fooling yourself or duplicitous, right? It's phony. We really want you. We want to blow your mind now. We want you to really understand that that's not the case. And let me show you just how not the case this is. I know my language today is very bad, but I guess it's my enthusiasm coming through. So Dr. Captos, is it Capthro? Okay. I try to remember his name based on a name recognition technique I was using, and I couldn't remember his name, so I'm going to look it up again. This guy is brilliant, and he's got such interesting experiments. Kapchuk, Dr. Kapchuk. I want to tell you that the way I remember that was I pictured somebody chucking a cap. but then I couldn't remember if it was cap throw or cap toss. It's capture. Apologies, doctor. My apologies to you. So here's the deal. They said, well, the big concern about placebo is that it seems sneaky. You know, you're sneaking this fake treatment on people, and and then if they get better, it's sneak. I don't know. Again, if I got better on a fake thing, okay. Now here's, you could see that. You could see somebody feeling like an idiot. It's like, I can't believe I got better. I must be such a moron. I got better from a sugar pill. I can't believe I'm so stupid. That's what they were trying to avoid. So what they decided to do was they said, what if we tell them it's a placebo? They say, we're going to give you these sugar pills, and you're going to take one a day, and they're going to, they've got no medical value whatsoever. We're telling you that right up front. It's a placebo. That's what this is. It's a placebo. But take it regularly, and there's a pretty good likelihood that you're going to get better. They would tell people that. And so you would know going into it. You're not being fooled. You know this is a placebo. And guess what? All over again, most people got better from the placebo. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was substantial. And we could actually post some of the data and some of the statistics and some of the research if you're interested in this as we go along. But it's absolutely fascinating. Now, I wanted, if we can, I wanted to pop up a comment here, and a couple of comments. First from Sean Jensen, who said, she's in medicine herself. She says placebos work better than pain meds in the hospital. No longer allowed. We've got to use the narcotics. Let's not, rather than making an overriding political statement here, let's just say that's not so cool, right? Because it's true that placebos work remarkably well in many cases. Now, also, I've got Beryl Komar coming here to us from, I believe, Spain. And Beryl is a hypnotherapist, a rather well-known and well-respected one. And she's been using hypnotherapy, as I do, as a method for reducing and eliminating pain. And again, many people would say that's a placebo. And if that is what you're saying, I would say, bring it on. Call it whatever you want to call it. We now know that placebo is not merely that kind of sneaky, fake snake oil concept that we've been led to believe that it is. But in fact, it's simply bringing the subconscious mind on board into the healing process and proving to us beyond a shadow of a doubt that once you bring the subconscious mind into the game, it can produce remarkable changes. Now, if I may say one more thing, Dr. Tim, because I know I'm dominating the conversation.
Okay, I've got one question about that. Go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead and ask your question. I'll circle back.
I think what that second study means to me, though, I think a lot of people also kind of connote the placebo effect, where it only works for like weak-minded people.
Right, exactly.
And really, that's nothing for, it's all of us. It's everybody. We have a mind-body connection. And that second study kind of illustrates it to me that they were telling everybody right up front, this is a placebo. This doesn't work, but still take it. And the results spoke for themselves. So it doesn't matter if you're told it's a placebo. There's some connection that in the pathways of the mind that told these people that they were going to get well, even though it was a placebo, and they got well.
Now, the interesting thing about that, Dr. Tim, is one of the Harvard researchers who was quoted in this article said, well, we get that this will work, and we believe this will work for pain. And as you said in last week's episode, or you said in your teaser, it works for all pain, right? It's because it is blocking the pain, the interpretation of pain, not the pain signal. The signal is getting to the brain, but then we're blocking the interpretation of the signal, right? So that's so we understand that that's that break in the process. But oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Go ahead. We've
gotten a couple of good comments from Beryl, the hypnotherapist, and she says that that they've been doing hypnotic gastric bands. So I'm guessing that what Beryl means is they don't even actually put the band on the lower part of the stomach, but the person thinks they have a band, and they actually go ahead and lose weight. And she also mentions that in Germany, the doctors have been prescribing placebos for several years.
And isn't that interesting?
In our world, in the United States, we're not as far advanced in this science as the European nations are, apparently, with the placebo. I think we're getting there.
Well, there are other factors and forces in power at work here as well. The point that I wanted to make was that this doctor was saying that while placebos make sense because if we could convince the mind that it has the capacity to control pain, well, the mind, the brain, the tissues will literally secrete the chemicals. We have endorphins and various other chemicals that our body creates that morphine and whatnot are really just essentially synthetic versions of things that our bodies create anyway. But he says, but that wouldn't work for cancer treatment, because for things like cancer, our bodies don't have chemicals that kill cancer cells. And I thought, well, that's not true. Our bodies, we're constantly able to, if we didn't have any capacity to kill cancer cells, we'd be dead from cancer in 15 minutes because we are in fact doing it. Now, I'm not suggesting that you just take placebos for your cancer. Please don't misunderstand me. What I'm suggesting is that the mind-body connection potentially can, and in cases has, had an impact, maybe not a complete impact on everyone, but has had an impact on healing a wide variety of things that modern medicine would just scratch its head at, or maybe just say, well, maybe we diagnosed it wrong the first time or something.
Sure.
But the point is,
if I was in treatment for any other condition,
yep,
I would want to use mind-body techniques no matter what was going on, even if I was under some medical care for some other condition, because I want to have all my bases covered. So I absolutely, I'm going to be using mind-body techniques and the ones we've shared in our episodes up till now, just to have all bases covered for sure. And many people can get well exclusively just from mind-body techniques. So
I was just popping over here to another. I wanted to share one more study here. It just fascinated me, where they found that if you give morphine to patients with pain and you don't let them know that you're giving them the morphine, they need twice as much morphine.
Crazy.
Yeah, you have to tell them, and you've got to be there doing it. They also know for certain that being compassionate and being present with individuals has a profound impact on their pain relief. So again, there's that placebo effect. There's the effect of love, the effect of attention, the effect of presence, all again, mind-body related. So having said all that, I wanted to give one big idea for today. Is there anything else, any other place we want to tease this out, Dr. Tim?
No, give us the one big T. How can our listeners, people either listening now or later in the replays, how can they use the placebo effect today if they have chronic pain?
Get somebody to cut you open. No. Here's what you want to do, guys. If you're under medical care, I'm not suggesting you stop taking your medicine, but what I am going to suggest is that if you are on any kind of a medication and you're still having pain, or if you're not on any medication, you're already clear that you don't need medication, that you haven't been prescribed medication. In either of those two cases, don't change the medication profile that you're doing. In other words, we're not advising you to change your medical care based on what I'm going to tell you. But whatever you're doing or not doing, go to the candy store and get some sugar pills. Sometimes they even come in the little, phony prescription bottle. And decide in advance what symptoms you want to eradicate inside of yourself. And then start taking those pills. One pill in the morning, one pill in the evening. I believe it might take one in the morning, and is it two in the evening? Which is the
You have to get it right, Steve.
Okay, that's right. The proper way is to prescribe a placebo is 1 in the morning, 2 in the evening, and see what happens.
And Steve, I already do this, but my placebo pills look exactly like a almond. So I don't have to go to the store. I just go get them right out of my almond bag, and those are my placebos for my own chronic pain.
I think that's mine too. You don't swallow them whole though. You chew them up.
I chew them personally.
Yeah,
that's they work. They work best if you chew them.
The almond ones are better to chew. The sugar pills, I'd say, just drop them down your throat. Now, don't take more than 1 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. And if you miss one of your doses, you don't have to double up the next time. You just take the same dose the second day.
Exactly.
The usual dose. That's it. That's the exercise. Now Beryl has also shared a resource that it's probably worth having us all take a look at. Steve Parkhill's book, Answer Cancer. I'm not familiar with that book, Beryl, but I used, what I used to read were books about there was one called The Cancer Conspiracy, and how the entire industry of cancer research is so corrupted by the pharmaceuticals that, you just don't know what's really going on out there.
Yeah, thanks for that. And thanks to Beryl for all her input today.
Beryl, it's good having you here. Thanks for jumping in today.
Yeah, you bet. And just want to share that tomorrow's show, we're going to be a little bit different tomorrow. We're going to, Dr. Steve and myself are going to share how we got into this pain game. What's our journey, our pain journey ourselves? Between the two of us, we have how many
74.
years? We have? How much?
74 years
of patient care,
yes,
and history with chronic pain. But we're just each going to give like a 5 to 10 minute little synopsis of how we got where we are right now, how we're so enthused about mind-body techniques for pain relief.
And Dr. Tim, maybe we could each also give one takeaway, maybe one of our favorite big ideas. So tomorrow we'll share our journey and then share one big idea each. So you'll still walk away with some value and get to know us a little bit better as well.
Exactly. So until then, Steve.
Yeah, you know what? Before we do our thing, I just wanted to one more time. I wanted to mention again the Freedom from Pain Kit, if you don't mind. I just wanted to let you guys know this has been a labor of love. We put this thing together. It's free at the time. It may not always be free, but for right now, just go to theouchdoctors.com and grab your copy of it and use it for your 14-day pain challenge. I promise you won't be sorry. It's really interesting. And of course, you'll have us to walk you through the process along the way. So join us with that. And if you are interested in doing personal work with us, this is how you get in touch with us, info@theouchdoctors.com. Now, we like to do our final catchphrase. We've never thus far said it in unison. So do you think this is the day?
It could be the day. You start. We'll do the together. Go ahead.
Train your brain.
Lose your pain.
Not bad. We got next week.